Hi guys. So I want to talk about religion and spirituality. So on my spiritual journey, I've been looking at other religions, and if you guys know me, I'm a pretty devout Christian. I say pretty because I'm a very non-traditional Christian. I don't believe half the crap that churches try to push onto people. And yeah, I don't believe half the stuff that the churches even say. I think that the churches are corrupt at their core, and they're not trustworthy whatsoever. And if you have to go to church to um, believe in God, then there's something wrong. You're not actually believing in anything. You're just believing lies. That's my take on it. You know, your connection to God is a personal one. It's not something that you go into a building to receive. It's not like that whatsoever. So that's my take on it. You don't have to believe what I believe, honestly, but I think it's about the closest thing you can get to the truth. So, again, I'm very non-traditional. I think the Bible is very metaphorical. I think some of the stories in there are just representations of certain concepts that are trying to be shown to you. Uh, you know, I don't know if Adam and Eve is a legitimate story, but there's clearly a metaphorical concept behind it with innocence and the loss of innocence by an evil person, thing, the serpent, you know. And there's this idea of like karma that's kind of being shown. You know, you mess with human beings, you're going to get your legs chopped off and you're going to have to eat dirt for the rest of your existence. You know, humans, you don't abide by God's rules, then, you know, you're going to be punished with now death being in your life. You know, there's metaphorical concepts behind all the stories, and whether or not they're true is one thing, but clearly there's messages being shown through these stories about God, about people, about the idea of Satan, the embodiment of Satan, and what Satan represents. Because Satan, in actuality, probably doesn't exist. Like the concept of Satan that we believe of this boogeyman that's, you know, that is Satan, probably isn't what Satan is. Satan's probably more of a evil persuader, I guess. He is a rebel. That's all he is. He's someone that is trying to get you to do bad things to anger God, because he's rebellious and he doesn't like God's rule over people. So that's basically my take on Christianity. I think it's very metaphorical. I think a lot of the stories aren't really true because, you know, the truth is the Bible is inspired by God. It is not written by God. It's written by man, and man has been known to make mistakes time and time again. So these stories are sometimes exaggerated in certain aspects. Some of the rules that are in place, I think, are exaggerated, such as, you know, gays being stoned to death, you know, not being able to eat pork, not being able to mix certain fabrics, you know, all that is very over-exaggerated. There is clear messages that were being made through those rules, but they are not as drastic as we think they are, because ultimately all sin is equal. You know, one isn't worse than the other. That's what we're taught. You know, murdering someone is not more evil than lying about stealing a cookie. That's legitimately, like, what the truth is. It's just evil all around. So, there's no level of evil. So, the concept of punishment is very outdated when you think of it that way. But getting off of Christianity, I wanted to talk about other religions. And in this spiritual journey, what it's kind of shown me about the world. Because right now I'm in the process of looking into other religions, specifically Hinduism. Hinduism, to me, makes the most sense. It actually makes more sense than Christianity itself. Why I'm not a Hindu is for a logical reason, because I'm very non-traditional. I think Christianity is metaphorical in most stories, and I think that Hinduism has a lot of knowledge and truth within the religion itself. And even the way it's structured makes way more sense than any other religion combined. Because the thing is, they have no structure. They have no hierarchy. It's very much an anarchistic religion. They don't have a single, prophets or anything. They have nobody, no man, woman, or child that is running anything. Now, they have organizations that are that have monks and stuff, kind of, but these are nothing more than people, and everyone else in these organizations realize that they are on an equal playing field. There is no hierarchy at all. So someone that is more knowledgeable in Hinduism is not seen as this higher being or anything, because we're all living in this existence equally. As opposed to other religions that have false prophets like the Pope or Buddha that keeps getting reincarnated as the Dalai Lama or whoever is their prophet at the time. They don't have a hierarchy like this, so that's good. But the religion itself teaches a lot of things that I've been saying in my findings, and that's why I'm really going to look into Hinduism. They talk about collective consciousness, the idea that we're all individual spirits and that we merge with the collective consciousness when we've completed our journey. They talk about karma and how whatever you give, you will receive. If you give negativity to the world, you will receive negativity. And if you give, positivity to the world, you will receive positivity. And, they have this yin and the yang kind of belief system as well, of, positive and negative aspects of the world. And, they believe in destructive gods and positive gods that are loving. And, what they've been teaching, these texts and, can't even think of them, the Upanishads and the Vedas and the other ones with the major stories, they teach many conflicting things, but this is how life is. It's very conflicting. And I think, a lot of scholars will agree with me on this, that Jesus was very much conflicting with Judaism. He basically said all the rules are thrown out the window from before. All the rules of stoning gays and not eating pork and mixing cloths. He didn't believe in any of that because, and he was the Messiah. I mean, that's you know what I'm saying? Now, don't get me confused here. Jesus wasn't sinful in any way, but he said that the sins were not as bad anymore. He didn't exactly say that in those terms, and I'm not going to try and put words into his mouth, but basically he was saying that all your sins are forgiven if you have good intent, if you are bringing in that positivity. See where this is going? You will receive positivity, and you will be forgiven if your intention was good. That's basically what Jesus' teachings were, and that you shouldn't judge people. All people are equal. See where this is going? To love all people. That's what Hinduism also teaches. Not to judge people, not to punish people, and that we're all on an equal playing field here. I've looked very much into this, and I will actually begin to read the Vedas and Upanishads very soon, because I find it very interesting, just extremely interesting, because Hinduism teaches so much. Now, the things I don't agree with are reincarnation. I think reincarnation itself makes sense. It's possible, but I think the idea of reincarnation is to represent, collective consciousness, and individual consciousness, and how individuals are reborn into new bodies. Because I think when we merge with the collective consciousness also branches off. And that's how we, in a sense, are reborn, because our energy is transferred to a new being. But the soul itself does not just transfer instantaneously to a new being. We are mixed up into this massive orb, this massive being called collective consciousness, which is always around, always together as one. All souls are in this together. But when a new soul is born, it's kind of collected into little parts, which is called the soul. I think that the soul itself is individual to me, individual to you, and when we die, we merge with the collective consciousness again entirely. And our soul particles, if you will, split and absolutely break apart. And then these little pieces are brought into different beings. And all the people that have died are split off like that. So we continue to live on through reincarnation, but we're living through multiple bodies. And stuff. So that's basically what I'm saying. And the idea of heaven is finally merging with the collective consciousness and being one with it, and knowing all that the collective consciousness knows. That's heaven. Because heaven is never really described in the Bible. It's described as this thing above earth, above the universe, but it's not really described. It's not, there's no physical description of heaven, so I think that's what it really is. And yeah, Hinduism kind of teaches this, but the thing that I don't also agree with on Hinduism is Hinduism believes that the gods are not collective consciousness, but they are collective consciousness, if this makes sense. They believe that the gods are almost equal in strength and power as human beings, but they're more it's very, very much confusing, because these gods have different powers and abilities, but they still, on a consciousness level, are equal with us. And this is where I disagree, because I think that, that God itself, one God, is collective consciousness. And there's a debate in Hinduism whether or not, Hinduism actually believes in multiple gods, or if they believe in one God that's represented by the multiple gods, such as Vishnu, Brahman, oh god, I can't even think of them. They have 40 or 50 gods. I'm not even over-exaggerating. So they're represented through that idea that God is Vishnu, Brahman. Those are the only ones I can remember. Shiva, and I cannot think of the other ones. But basically, they're all representations of the emotions of God, which is everything. And all these gods are just aspects of the higher consciousness, the collective consciousness. They don't believe that, really. Hindus, that is. Mostly, from what I've found, it's either they're all a representation of one big god, or they are separate beings altogether. But I haven't really heard much talk of, the fact that God is collective consciousness in Hinduism. So yeah, but I'm really going to dive into it. I'm going to read those books, and from what I've heard, they're long, if I'm not mistaken, especially the epics with the stories and stuff, which I'm not so much interested in, because again, they're metaphors and they're very long, and they talk about the tales of the different gods and getting to know these different gods, which good for you if you have time to read into all that, but I don't. I really don't. So I'm just interested in the Vedas and Upanishads at the moment, because that's more the spiritual text, without the mumbo-jumbo stories that try to show you things. Not that they're any less important in Hinduism, they're just... it's something really major you got to commit yourself to, and I'm not into it that much to commit to text this big, and I'm just not ready for it. So yeah, so that's going to be my journey. I'm going to search into this. I'll tell you guys what I find. It's going to be quite a while, because I have a busy life. I don't really have that much time to look into Hinduism hardcore, especially since I'm a Christian. It really is kind of out of place and awkward, but I still very much believe that Hinduism is very much on the right track. I don't believe everything they believe, but I think a lot of the teachings that they show really will allow you to attain that knowledge and truth that you've been looking for quicker. I think that there's just a lot there. So that's why I'm looking into it, because I'm just generally interested from what I've seen. And I've been looking into it for a little bit, and I like what I see. So thanks for staying with me on this rant about Hinduism and Christianity and how they're connected and not connected. And we'll have more religion rants that will piss people off in the future, I'm sure. But for now, this is it. It's really late. It's 2 in the morning. Oh my god. So I'm gonna go to bed. God bless. Love you all. Love the world. Peace.